Hey, let's talk about these bylaws. I'm gonna read some of this to y'all word for word and break down like what it actually means for the woman in these communities, whether she be married or single. This is a trap, and she can't say it, but I will. We're gonna get right into it. Straitway Truth Ministries is a faith-based ministry headquartered in Tennessee, dedicated to guiding individuals on a path to righteousness. Sounds very innocent, sounds very holy, but I mean, all you have to do is really pay attention. This path of righteousness ends up being like a one-way road where you have to follow their vision, their order, their interpretation of the book, their rules. You have to do these things or you are seen as rebellious. You're seen as a problem, carnal, spiritually unfit. Now that's a start. Okay, Article 1, Section 2. All contributions to Straitway Truth Ministries are voluntary and are provided as acts of service. The organization does not offer paid positions or employee benefits. This is a pretty big statement. I think it's in this one as well where it says that, you're encouraged to seek outside independent financial sources or something like that. If you are a single mother, you are not encouraged to leave that land and go get a job at all. So what does that mean for you? This is also a way for these people in the leadership positions to legally protect themselves because they know that you're being exploited. You're working a full-time job. You're working more than a full-time job. You're doing extreme labor in these places. And they extract your value in the name of devotion, shifting the survival of it onto you. And then psychologically, it is training you to not expect anything when the wording like voluntary and what else did it say? But just that word alone, it shifts you into this mindset that you're a servant. This is what you're supposed to be doing. On these communities, you're going to work a lot. You're going to be cooking for hours. You're going to be cleaning. You're going to be gardening. Your husband's going to be building. You're going to be babysitting. You're going to be doing all these things for free. And it's called volunteering, but in reality, this is unpaid labor. And they package it as faith, service. You don't have wages. You don't have rights. You're not protected, which we'll talk about more. But when you're tired, you're reminded that this is your duty. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you volunteered to do. This hits hardest if you're a single woman, if you're a single mother, because you need money. You have babies that have needs. You're trying to build something for yourself. But here, financial independence for you is absolutely quietly discouraged. You're praised for being dependent. It's set up for you to be dependent. There is no outside source unless you have family. If they don't step in, you really don't have anything of your own. Everything is pretty much given to you based off of your value, what you can contribute. This going into Article 3, Straitway may provide food, housing, and communal resources not as compensation. So you get enough to survive so you won't leave, or so that it's harder for you to leave. This is not enough to actually be free. This is how the dependency is built, and it's very strategic because you're relying on them for food. They're giving you food. They're giving you shelter. They're giving you the needs for your children. They are giving you these things, but you can't ever say, I need more, or this isn't enough. Because you're immediately labeled as disgruntled. You're immediately labeled as ungrateful. Or they literally just tell you, no, you don't. Make it work. So you can see how this is leverage and control tools to keep you there, to make it hard for you to leave, to make you rationalize why you shouldn't leave, if you're thinking that you should, if you feel like you should. Article 4, members are expected to conduct themselves in alignment with the ministry's values. Behavior that disrupts the environment is grounds for removal. Okay, ministry talks a lot about, your Israelite, concrete versus abstract. This is not concrete. This is very vague. This is very vague. And it discourages questioning. So basically what this means is, if you speak up, if you ask too many questions, if you advocate for yourself, your child, for somebody else, if you say this doesn't feel right, any type of disagreement, you can be removed. And this is how they silence you. It's a fear that takes away your voice. So let's be real, for a married woman, you already walking on eggshells in your own house. You see your husband listening to these men more than he listens to you. And when I say listens to you, not like you're telling him what to do or trying to control the house. Listening to you as far as, I don't feel safe. I don't understand what's going on. I don't like the way I'm being treated. He's not listening to that. Your feelings don't matter. They're not real. They're not important. But he's listening to pastors. He's listening to the elders. He's listening to these broadcasts. He's listening to these men. And so you're raising his children. You're keeping his home. You're playing your role. And you're still being told that you're falling short because you don't submit willingly and cheerfully. For a single woman, you are disposable the moment you become an inconvenience. There is no convenient. There's no covering. There's just expectation. You show up and you work. And you be silent. Article 5, Section 1. The senior pastor holds final authority in all matters, y'all. This is a huge red flag. The Essenes, I don't know how to pronounce their name, but they had hierarchy, but they didn't even centralize control and power to just one person. This is literally where you cross a line of your loyalty no more is to principles. It's to a man, a person. This is zero accountability. This is 100% a dictatorship. He can decide what's righteous. He can decide what's rebellious. He can decide who stays, who goes, who's heard, who's silenced. And everybody else is just gonna nod. Even if it doesn't sit right in their spirit, they still gonna follow, because again, this agenda is being pushed to not ask any questions. This is crazy, y'all. So for a woman, she literally is disappearing. Your voice is gone. Your needs are suppressed. There is no individuality. And then you wonder why you're depressed and why you feel dead inside and why you can't even hear the Most High anymore. That is the biggest red flag. Article 6. The ministry shall not be liable for any injury, harm, or loss. So after all that unpaid work, all the emotional pressure, all the physical labor, if anything goes wrong, which has happened, they are not responsible. You dealing with power tools, you're in the kitchen cooking, this is hard labor. Okay? You get hurt, you get burnt out, you collapse under the weight of serving everybody but yourself, it's on you. This is no accountability. This as well shows you that they know that you are being exploited. Think about the dangers and the things that have happened already, that have taken place on these communities, the injuries, deaths. These things are happening, and this bylaw is saying that we're not responsible. Article 7. Article 7, okay. All amendments shall require final approval by the senior pastor. And he's reaffirming again. If you didn't understand in Article 6, I'm going to say it in Article 7. I'm in charge. One man is in control of everything. The rules, the punishments, the exceptions, the definition of righteous and rebellious. He could change anything. He could change anything except his own position of power. So he can shift the goalposts. And again, that is a huge red flag, y'all. Huge red flag. This is a man. This is a human. And you are willingly giving all of that power to him over you, your life, your livelihood. I'm going to say clearly that this system, this movement, this agenda is not built to help a woman heal or grow. It's not built to help a family heal or grow. Absolutely not. But for a woman, you're going to disappear quietly. It can be slow or fast. But the whole time, you're still smiling, you're still serving, you still gonna push through. But I'm telling you, this is spiritual manipulation wrapped in scripture. And these women can't say it because they're scared. They can't say it because they're tired. They can't say it because they know the cost of speaking up. But I'm not there anymore. I'm free. So I don't have to stay quiet, and I'm not going to. Like I say, I'm saying what she can't, what she won't say. And who's benefiting from these bylaws? If you're still in this ministry, how is this benefiting you? What does this do to benefit you, your children? Okay. Does this make you feel free? Does this feel like freedom? Does it sound like freedom to you at all? What part of these bylaws? Can you tell me in the chat, comment below? Tell me what part of this feels like freedom to you. I read this and I was so comforted. I felt safe and completely comfortable signing this. Pay attention to when these righteous leaders use scripture to protect themselves legally. Why is there a need for that? Pay attention to the timing of everything. Why is this happening now? And this isn't even scripture. This is based off of, I think, a small group of Israelites that were erased. I don't even think they lasted. The system failed. The structure that they set up, it wasn't sustainable to last. Pay attention to how it's set up to be all about obedience. Everything is about obedience. It's obedience over discernment. It's obedience over questioning. Obedience over grace and compassion. Even if your master is doing wrong, obey. I'm gonna say it because she can't